Okay, number 2, chapter 2 in the Zelle book, Python Programming, Introduction to Computer Science, second edition. We're using Python 3. Modify, this is page 53. Modify the average 2.py program, section 2.5.3, to find the average of 3 exam scores. So the differentiator there is 3 instead of 2. We could do it easily, but I'm going to make it a little tougher. We're just going to write it out a little bit. We're just going to write it out one more time. We're literally going to copy it. I might be wasting time, but I think it could be helpful. This is what, to repeat, to practice and keep practicing. And I think that's sort of the secret of memory. So all right, so print. This program computes the average 2 exam scores. Because I'm sure it's going to get steep. It's going to get harder. This is probably going to, be the funnest part. Because it gets tough. So quote unquote most fun. It's a little bit easier, right? It's a little bit easier if the logic isn't so difficult and the program design, it's just reasonable. It's just like reasonable algebra stuff, the parenthesis and the divided by, it's not totally tough, but it gets harder. I mean, just like in life, if you get really good at something, you're doing more challenging stuff. But as it gets harder, you get better. So that's why I practice this. And I remind myself that comma gives a little space. The plus does not. So just little distinctions that I've been making. So all right, type that exact thing right over again. The eval, input. All right, so now we're going to do 3 scores. So now this is going to be 3 exam scores. And then we go through and change this to 3 exam scores. And now we're going to use score 3. So we're going to have them do 3 scores. And we're going to learn if we can do this. Can do, comma separated inputs, score 1, score 2, score 3. And show us how impressive Python is. That'd be awesome if it worked. So we're going to do score 1, score 2. This is my first route that I'm going to try. And it might be the only route that we need, because this might work just fine. If there's an error, what do we think the error is going to be because? Well, I think it's going to be because maybe we can only do it once. We're going to do score 1, comma, score 2, so maybe only 1 comma. And then the obvious question would be, okay, well, can you do 5? And then we'll try that. So we also want to think beyond the questions, and especially when learning something new, like something fun, like a programming language, think beyond the question. And I think that from a learner's perspective, that's where the joy really comes in, and just reminding yourself that it's about your curiosity about learning and not just solving this problem. If you're doing something where these problems, you have like a time crunch, and or you only know up to that level, and or you're really exhausted, those factors might preclude you from thinking outside in this realm. But if you've got a little bit of time, you want to think, okay, well, what might the error be if there is a trace, if there is an error, a trace back, and it might be just that comma. So then you're thinking, so if there is an error, you're going to have an opinion that you've created, and then you'll go there first, and you'll go to, obviously go to the line that it mentions, but and then you want to think beyond it as well. Okay, well, what's the next thing we can do? Well, let's see if we can do 5 or 7, and see if maybe, because if we can do 5 or 7, then it's pretty likely that this program, in Python, with these keywords and functions, etc., that this that basically this statement, this expression, which is an assignment essentially, that you can use unlimited commas. And maybe I read that somewhere, or I didn't read that somewhere, or maybe I read it and forgot it. So this is how, I keep that information from like leaking out of my head, just reminding myself over and over and over and trying different routes. So I highly recommend that. All right, so let's see what we can do. All right, so we're gonna save this as average 2. We're gonna save this as average 3, right? Because it's the average of 3 numbers. So save this as average 3, and now we're gonna go to Python 3.5. That's what I've got on here. So the idle. All right, there we go. So now we're gonna open this. We're going to Python, and we're going to go to average 3 or avg3.py. Okay, there's the program. Run it. All right, so it's going to be, let's say 98, 90, 79. Ooh, is it 133? Nope, it's not. So, let's see. I know why. Because we didn't change this, or I didn't change this. I'm gonna take full responsibility. All right. It's always funny when people say "we" when you make a mistake, and they say "I" when it's a good thing. All right. I try to watch that. Yeah. So I made the mistake of not typing that in correctly. Okay. And so that's why I want to keep that dialogue going. Like, okay, where could this problem come from? Okay, 130 means it probably added 2 of them. Maybe it looked like it added the last. Did it add? No. It added all 3 and then divided it by 2. So it's like close to 300 because it was like 99, 98, 79. So it was like close to 300, like a little bit below 300. And then divide that by 3, so it's going to be right around. No, divide that by 2, it's going to be right around 150. So the fact that we spit out like 130 and change, I was like, okay, that's probably what it is. So you want to keep that in mind as well. Okay, so we're going to go here. We're going to open. So let's go to open. All right, let's try it again. All right, so let's run it. Okay, now let me double check. Here's the average equals score 1 score 3. That is an average. That's a mean, right? You add them all up, get the number, and then divide that by the number of items. That is how to calculate an average or a mean. All right, so here we go. Let's try it again. Let's do 99, 95, 79. Seems about right to me. It's probably going to be below these two because of the 79, but it's probably not going to be close to 79 because you got 2 that were high A's. And one of them was close to 100%. It was almost perfect. So you're not going to get punished as much. And then let's try it one more time. Let's run it one more time. So let's close this and let's run it one more time. So let's do this. Now I just want to show, just in case I forgot, let's say I forgot that, oh, what about spaces? Well, it's a moot point. Python just disregards a bunch of white space. So it's a pretty, yeah, so that makes sense. That's 100. Now let's try this. Let's see if it does it more. It probably does. It probably does. It probably can go in unlimited. Divide that by 5. 5. 5. Let's make that a number. All right. Save that. Go here. We're going to open. Oh, we said that is average 3. Okay, so we said that is average 3. Should have said there's AVG5, but say that average 3. Oh, there's the mistake. Okay, so we'll save it as AVG5 now because I made the mistake of not creating those other variables. So score 4 and score 5. Now we're going to save this. So we'll say that was average 3 because we already messed up AVG3 anyways because, and then we got to change this. So I kind of messed up because we should say that it's avg5.py. But yeah, what I would do is I would actually offline, I'm going to go back and change AVG3 to 3 scores. And then I'm going to type in AVG5 for 5 scores. But let's see. We're learning something new about this program. There we go. All right, let's do it. Let's go run module. Okay, so 100. Let's make it super easy. Ooh, this is awesome. Really cool. We just learned this probably goes on forever. You can initialize a bunch of variables. And as long as you tell the user to separate them by commas, since you're putting commas here on the assignment line, you can just do unlimited. And then, here's the average. And so anyways, we did number 2. We also thought outside of that box of that question, and I think this will be sort of a helpful policy as you're learning new stuff about a particular program. Thank you very much.